If the source of all existence intended humanity to know ultimate truth, why would that truth depend upon human translation? Think about it. Every translator must interpret. Every interpretation is filtered through a human mind. Every human mind is shaped by language, culture, history, education, and inherited assumptions. Translation is not reality. Translation is humanity's attempt to carry meaning from one language into another. But here is the question almost no one asks. How do you translate something that has no direct physical function or observable reality to point to? If a concept cannot be identified in nature, cannot be demonstrated, cannot be observed repeating in reality, and cannot be pointed to the way we point to the sun, water, gravity, or a tree, then what exactly is being translated? Is it reality? Or is it one culture's understanding being exchanged for another culture's understanding? Before any scripture was written, the sun was already rising. Before any prophet spoke, gravity was already working. Before the first alphabet existed, rivers already flowed, seeds already became forests, fire already burned, and every child entered a world governed by patterns that required no translation whatsoever. Reality did not wait for language. Language came because humanity wanted to describe reality. That is why every human being, regardless of language, can point to the same sunrise. Every culture can point to the moon. Every culture understands hunger, birth, aging, death, rain, and cause and effect because reality itself is universal. It teaches everyone without first asking what language they speak. Now consider how children learn language. A child does not begin by memorizing a dictionary. A child watches. A child points. A child repeats. Someone points to water and says a word. Someone points to a bird and says a word. Someone points to fire and says a word. Through repeated experience, the child learns that a sound has become attached to something that actually exists. Language grows because reality continually confirms the connection between the word and the thing being described. But now I want you to ask a much deeper question. What happens when the word has no direct function in observable reality? What does a translator point to? What object demonstrates it? What repeating pattern in nature confirms it? If nothing in reality can be pointed to, then the translator cannot translate reality. The translator can only translate another person's explanation, another culture's agreement, another civilization's interpretation. At that moment, meaning is no longer being transferred from reality into language. It is being transferred from one human framework into another human framework. One cultural agreement is being exchanged for another cultural agreement. This is not a criticism of translation. It is simply recognizing its limits. Translation works remarkably well when both cultures can point to the same reality. A mountain remains a mountain. Water remains water. Fire remains fire. But when the discussion turns to concepts that cannot be directly demonstrated in observable reality, the challenge becomes profoundly different. The translator is no longer asking, "What do they call this?" The translator is asking, "How do I express one culture's invisible understanding inside another culture that possesses its own invisible understandings?" That is not a simple exchange of vocabulary. It is an exchange of worldviews. This is why humanity has produced thousands of interpretations, denominations, schools of thought, and philosophical traditions, while often using many of the same translated words. The words may appear identical, yet the meanings carried within them continue changing, because every culture organizes experience differently. So I leave you with one question. If reality already provides a universal language available to every human being, every moment of every day, why do we so often place greater certainty in human interpretations of words than in the reality those words claim to describe? Perhaps understanding begins the moment we stop treating every translation as the destination and start asking whether it still points faithfully toward reality. Reality came first. Human language followed. Words may guide us, but reality remains the only teacher that never requires a translator. Ashe.